Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier, found out about Bill Gates' involvement with a Russian bridge player and subsequently seemed to exploit this information to intimidate the Microsoft co-founder. Epstein's intention was to establish a philanthropic fund, and he aimed to secure Gates as a significant contributor to the fund. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a like. The Microsoft co-founder, Bill Gates, and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein had interactions involving financial transactions and potential blackmail. Gates met a woman in her 20s in 2010, who later received funding from Epstein to attend a coding school. In 2017, Epstein emailed Gates asking for reimbursement, implying he could expose their connection if Gates didn't maintain ties. Gates maintains that his meetings with Epstein were solely for philanthropy. Epstein faced legal trouble for sexual abuse and died in jail in 2019. Gates regrets his association with Epstein. Mila Antonova, a Russian bridge player, met Gates but was unaware of Epstein's criminal background. She thought he was a successful businessman wanting to help. In addition to their financial interactions, Epstein had attempted to establish a multi-billion-dollar charitable fund with JP Chase, which he wanted Gates to participate in. Despite Epstein's efforts, Gates repeatedly declined to get involved in the fund. Following Gates' refusal, Epstein sent an email in 2017 requesting reimbursement for the coding school expenses, which was seen as a veiled threat to expose their association if Gates didn't comply. New details about the relationship between Epstein and Gates reveal a complex dynamic and provide insight into Epstein's modus operandi. During the years following Epstein's 2008 conviction and prior to his death, he engaged with various individuals, including politicians, businessmen, academics, and celebrities, offering favors and attempting to leverage these connections for his own purposes. However, when these relationships deteriorated, Epstein could turn against people. Bill Gates, a renowned philanthropist with a net worth exceeding $100 billion, was one of the notable names in Epstein's extensive network. Starting in 2011, Gates had multiple scheduled meetings with Epstein, which included dinners at Epstein's New York townhouse. Flight records indicate that Gates even flew on Epstein's private plane from New Jersey to Florida in March 2013. Additionally, the two men met with a Nobel Peace Prize Committee official in France during the same month. In September 2014, they spent a significant portion of a day in New York City, meeting other billionaires. These details highlight the extent and nature of the interactions between Epstein and Gates, suggesting a level of involvement that goes beyond mere philanthropy and indicating a more intricate relationship. Gates has expressed that he developed an interest in playing bridge from his parents, and it became one of his favorite pastimes. He played the game with Mila Antonova, who shared his passion for bridge. According to her LinkedIn profile, Antonova attended a university in Russia from 2000 to 2005. She later established a bridge club in the United States and held various software engineer positions in the Bay Area. In a video shared online in 2010, Antonova recounted meeting Gates at a bridge tournament and competing against him. She humorously mentioned attempting to kick him with her leg, although she admitted she did not defeat him. According to documents examined by the Wall Street Journal, Mila Antonova had an idea to establish an online business teaching bridge and sought funding for it. Boris Nikolic, a trusted advisor to Gates and a prominent science advisor, introduced Antonova to Epstein to help her raise the necessary funds. Nikolic clarified that his initial meeting with Epstein was in his capacity as Gates's scientific advisor, and they discussed philanthropic proposals. He expressed deep regret for having ever met Epstein, acknowledging the despicable nature of his crimes and expressing sympathy for the victims. Antonova and Nikolic met with Epstein at his townhouse in November 2013, where Antonova presented her proposal for the venture called Bridge Planet. Epstein provided feedback on the proposal. Antonova aimed to raise $500,000 to support the mission of promoting bridge through high-quality tutorials for players at different skill levels. However, Epstein ultimately did not invest in the project, according to Antonova. In November 2014, Antonova briefly stayed at an apartment in New York City that was provided by Epstein. She clarified that during her stay, she did not interact with Epstein or anyone else associated with him. Following her unsuccessful attempt to secure funding for Bridge Planet, Mila Antonova made the decision to pursue a career as a software programmer. In order to attend a programming boot camp, she approached multiple individuals to borrow money. Antonova explained that Epstein agreed to cover the expenses and made a direct payment to the school. She expressed her confusion about his motivation, as there were no conditions or favors involved. Epstein simply stated that he was wealthy and wanted to assist people whenever possible. During the time Epstein was meeting with Gates, he also had scheduled meetings with other individuals closely associated with Gates, such as Boris Nikolic, Nathan Myhrvold, and Melanie Walker, according to documents. Myhrvold's spokesperson clarified that their connection with Epstein was limited to encounters at TED conferences and shared interests in scientific research. Nikolic expressed remorse for his association with Epstein and expressed relief that Epstein did not invest in his ventures. Walker's spokesperson declined to comment on her meetings with Epstein. Simultaneously, Epstein was attempting to establish a multi-billion-dollar charitable fund in collaboration with J.P. Morgan. The fund aimed to pool contributions from some of the world's wealthiest individuals. Epstein proposed a minimum individual contribution of $100 million and significant fees for himself. He viewed the fund as a means to restore his tarnished reputation, relying on securing support from Gates. Epstein's emails, containing spelling errors and typos, attempted to convey his close advisory role to Gates, despite Gates not being included in the emails reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. Gates' spokesperson clarified that Epstein never worked for Gates and misrepresented their association in communications with J.P. Morgan and others. In one email to J.P. Morgan executives, Epstein claimed the fund would grant Gates access to superior individuals, investments, and governance, without affecting his marriage or causing issues with foundation employees. Epstein criticized J.P. Morgan's presentation on the project, emphasizing the significance of Gates' input. However, the charitable fund never materialized. J.P. Morgan later expressed regret over their association with Epstein, stating they did not require him as a client or for introductions. They wished they had never conducted business with Epstein. Erdos, a J.P. Morgan executive, declined to comment, while Staley, another executive, previously expressed remorse over his friendship with Epstein. Epstein arranged a meeting between Gates, Norwegian officials, and himself in 2013, suggesting he could help Gates win a Nobel Peace Prize for his polio eradication efforts. Gates and Epstein also met with the chair of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee in France. However, discussions regarding a charitable fund involving J.P. Morgan and Gates did not succeed. In 2017, Epstein contacted Gates asking for reimbursement for a coding school expense, hinting that he knew about their affair. Gates denied making any payment. Before his death, Epstein changed his will and named Nikolic as a backup executor, possibly as a retaliatory move against Gates. Nikolic declined the role.